So you're interested in a tax sale overages course. That's great, because tax sale overages is one of the best businesses that you could possibly do as either a side hustle or a main business. I started my tax sale overages business about 12 years ago as a side business, and it's grown since then to be my full-time main business, and it is absolutely amazing. It's amazing because you get to make a lot of money and you get to help people, and I don't know what could be better than that, than making money serving people that really need to be served and really need to be helped. So for me, it's a business I'm proud of because I'm helping people, but also one that I'm proud to support my family in a spectacular way with. So let's talk about what you need to learn in order to do the tax sale overages business. And I'll tell you in our course how we handle those things, because I've been teaching this business for the past 6 years or so. Mostly I'm the leader in it. I mean, it's funny to sit here and kind of brag about yourself, but anybody who's teaching it probably learned it from me at some points. They're one of my apprentices. Some of them do a better job than others. I don't pay much attention to what they do. I'm glad for them if they're going and trying something, but I'm the old original and the one who really knows this business the best. So let's talk about the business and what you need to learn. So the first thing you need to know is what states can I do this in? And most states you can do it in. 2 states you really can't because of legal problems and you get into some trouble. Those are Kansas and South Carolina. So just if you're going to do the business, just do yourself a favor, skip Kansas and South Carolina. For my students, I get into the details of it, but for you, I just want to make sure that you don't inadvertently just walk into a thicket of problems. So just skip those. Also skip California. California is another one because of the way their laws are structured. It's not a practical business there, so I wouldn't do it there. But there are plenty of other states that are fantastic to do it in. And it's a very low risk business, not the kind of business you get into trouble, as long as you avoid those states. But other than that, you'll be fine. So let's talk about what you need to know. First, you got to pick your state. So you want to pick a state with a lot of overages, with easy laws to deal with, without where you just submit claims. You don't have to go to court or anything like that. You can just do it on your own. You don't have to be an attorney or anything. So that's number one. So look for a state where it's, it doesn't involve any legal work. The second thing is pick good counties. And generally, to me, a good county is a county that's going to have enough leads. So look for a county that has a higher population, because the ones with a higher population are going to have more leads, because naturally, the more houses there are in a county, the more tax foreclosures there will be in a given year. So very simple. I would say at a minimum, look for counties where there are 70,000 people or more in that county, and that should be a pretty fruitful county to work. Then we need to know how to get the lists. So make sure whatever course you're going to be taking, they actually take you and show you how to get the lists by doing Google searches, by sending off letters, by sending off emails. Make sure that's thoroughly covered, because there are 3,000 counties in the United States and you don't want to be bumbling around trying to figure it all out. So make sure someone's doing that. What we do in our training is I have a written training on that. And then we also have a matching video training so that I actually go onto the computer, show us getting lists, show myself and my staff getting lists, and show you how to do it. So make sure that you learn that well, because if you don't have lists, then you can't, do any business. So we get lists that are like these and like these, that are just, lists of properties that have been sold and money that's left over. Like this list that has probably 50 leads on it, $3,341,087.11 sitting on this list. So very, very fruitful. Once you get the list, then what you have to do is learn how to get the contact information for the people. That's a process called skip tracing. So what we do in our educational course is we show you actual skip tracing, and we give you the best tools. We tell you these are the tools that really work. These are the Ferraris and Lamborghinis of skip tracing, and these are the ones that are going to get you the accurate information, which includes phone numbers and social media addresses and mailing addresses, so that you can reach out to people and get them to sign up and hire you. The next thing you need in your business is a call script, because the challenge in this business is not really getting the list. That's simple enough. It's not really anything except getting in touch with a person and connecting with them in a human way so that they hire you to help them. And that is really the challenge, because you have to establish rapport and you have to use the right words, because people are skeptical. All of us every day have people call on our cell phone that are flim-flammers. 3 times a day, I get a call from some outfit that wants to sell me life insurance. And it's some kind of computerized dialer, so it just keeps going and over again. And I've learned, it's not always the same number, but I've gotten to the point where if it's not a number I know, I'm picking up the phone very quickly, and someone better say hello immediately because the computer doesn't. So anyway, you got to beat that challenge. And that is the challenge in the overages business, is reaching out to people and doing it in the right way. So we teach how to do a combination of mail and electronic communication like Facebook messages, as well as phone communication. Do that combination so that people are getting hit from several directions at once, and then entering into effective conversations with them. Now, what's an effective conversation looks like? It's a conversation that is human. It's person to person. It's not a robocall. It's a conversation covering the right words so that their skepticism can come down, their trust can come up, and then when those two things meet, they can hire you to help them out. Because there's a lot of money in this business, but only if you sign people up. So you have to get good training. So make sure wherever you're going to get your training, that you get outstanding training on calling skills, that you get a really good call script to use, one that's proven and tested and battle proven. So then next, so someone says yes. They say, yes, I'd like some help getting my money. So what's next? Well, you got to sign them up. So for me, I'm an attorney. I've been doing this business since 2005. I did my first overage. I really made this a full-time business in 2011. So I've been doing it since then. You need good paperwork. You just do. You need the right fee agreement. You need the right documentation to support your legal right to work with that person and keep that deal locked down. Because if you recover, like if I look at this list, the second claimant list is $193,000. Let's assume we weren't starting there. Third claim is $25,000 claim. $25,000 claim for us is going to result in a fee of about $10,000 for recovering that money. If I'm going to get paid $10,000, I better have a written agreement. It better be solid. It better lock that deal down. And it better make sure that the money is going to come to me for deposit into my business account, and then I send them their portion. And that's the way you need to structure those deals. So make sure whatever you're learning that someone has attorney prepared documents that are tried, tested, and proven. I've been doing this business for a long time. I'm an attorney, so my documents are very strong, but you need a fee agreement, a power of attorney, an assignment, letter of direction to the county. You need a bunch of documents like that and a few others. You need all those documents because otherwise your deal is on shaky ground. And we don't build a castle on sand. We build a castle on bedrock. And one of the bedrocks is to have good, legally compliant agreements. So we have that. Whoever you're learning from, make sure that they have state compliant agreements and make sure that they'll stand behind it. I'm an attorney, so I stand behind my agreements, and I've been doing the business since 2011, so it's been a long time. So I'm comfortable with them and can make sure you have that done right. After you get the agreements, then the next question is, how do you deal with special situations? Like, how do you deal with an estate, an LLC, a divorced couple? How do you deal with all these things? And how do you deal if a mortgage company shows up and wants to claim the money? How do you deal with those things? Well, you need to make sure that you get someone that has a solid background in doing these claims and frankly in law, because those things are legal questions. Make sure you're dealing with whoever you're getting your education from really has that background and is completely buttoned up and dialed in. Again, you don't want to document your deal incorrectly and then lose the money at the end where you did the work, you got the money, but then you don't get paid. So make sure that wherever you're learning about it, that you learn that. So your components that you need to learn are what states you can do this in, how to get the lists, how to find the people, what to say to them, and how to put those documents together. And then the last step is how to submit the claim and get it through. So there are two ways to submit claims. One is an administrative claim process. That's where you're turning in a claim to usually the county department that did the tax foreclosure. Usually have a one-page claim form, not hard to fill in. There are a couple important things you have to do there, like make sure your address is on there and not the claimant's so that they send the check to you. But aside from those couple little things, that's a pretty easy part of the process. So just send that in. The county will process the claim. They'll ask any questions, and then they'll send a check back to you. The second way to make a claim is a judicial claiming process. Now, what does that mean? Judicial claims means that the money is in court. Court is the judicial system, so that's why it's a judicial claim. Now, when you have to do those, you're going to hire an attorney to do the claim for you because you can't represent someone else in court. So you can't take a homeowner that has lost their house and you're going to be their representative in court. You can do it with an administrative agency, no problem. So make sure when you pick a state that you pick a state that has administrative claims, not judicial claims. So that's your first clue. So anyway, make sure that you hire a good attorney to work with. Make sure you hire someone with some experience and that knows what they're doing so that you can get your money out. But My biggest advice at the beginning is work in states where they're administrative claim states, not judicial claim states, because the judicial claim is going to cost you some money. And we generally budget between $2,000 and $2,500 for each claim that we have. If it's going to be a judicial claim, we budget that for attorney's costs. So I don't want to have you in this new business having to fork over $2,500 for each claim that you're putting in. Instead, let's fork over nothing and just submit the claim to the administrative government agency that they process for free. That doesn't cost you anything. So definitely start off in the administrative states. So make sure who's ever teaching you has some kind of a chart that tells you which states are administrative claims, which states are judicial claims, and then head for the administrative claims. Another thing I'll tell you about this business, when you get some good education, it is not a hard business. Where people succeed or fail is if they do the business. There are lots of people that start doing things, and then as soon as they get a little resistance or they find it a little confusing, they stop. Don't be that man or woman. Be the person that pushes through, because this is an amazing business. We're helping people who have lost their house to a tax sale. We're helping them get a big windfall that may put them back into housing, back into life again. So it's very important work, and it's work that can make you the money that you want for yourself and your family. So you can have a great retirement, so you can step out of a job that you've just had enough of, or so you can just do something on the side. Lots of people do this on the side. We have stay-at-home moms that do this for a couple hours every afternoon. We have people that just, started working remotely and like it, and they want to keep that lifestyle, so they're working it that way. We have retired people who just want to do something kind of on the side, so they have a good, well-financed retirement. Perfect for all those things. So I definitely encourage you to go into this business. It is a great business where you help people and you can make lots of money, but definitely get good education. I think we do a great job. We certainly try our best. I'm a real estate attorney by background, so real estate and this go together like a hand in a glove. So I'm good at this business, but that doesn't mean that you have to be an attorney to do it. I can teach you what you need to know, but mostly I just want to encourage you to do this business. It is a great business. There are thousands and thousands of these leads sitting out there just waiting for you to reach out, call the person, get them to say yes, submit that claim, get a check, take a nice portion for yourself so you have an ongoing business, give them the majority of it so they can get their life restarted over again, and you'll have a business you're proud of and you make a lot of money. Now, if you're interested in learning more about what we teach and we do, then I would say just go to the bobsfreeclass.com website that you see down below. That'll get you to a presentation that I recorded that's a little over an hour long, where I go over our course in depth. I go over what you need to do to succeed in the overages business, and I tell you about the business so you can really understand it. I think it's a terrific business for you if you want to help people and make great money. If you want to do something where you can start it on the side but grow it as big as you want it, I think it's an amazing business for that. And I'd love to share it with you. So this is Attorney Bob Diamond. I'm glad that you were here. I hope this is useful, and hopefully I'll see you over in the intro to the overages business video, where I'll tell you about our education, and hopefully you'll get involved and be the next person collecting checks. And just on checks, after I do this video, I have to go deposit some checks. We had a banner day. So $129,000 overage, that's the gross money that came in, a $23,000 overage, and a $22,000 overage all in one day. And my gosh, if we take 129 plus 23 plus 22, that's a lot of money. What's that? 55 plus 130, about $184,000 that we brought in a day, and we get a nice healthy percentage of that. Usually we charge between 30 and 40% depending on the claim size. You're going to charge what you want, but you can see, if you imagine if you had a day like this where it's $180,000 gross recovery day, and even if you charge them the lower end 30% of $180,000 is $60,000, and that's the kind of money that is accessible in this business. Now, did these take some work? Sure they did, absolutely. We spent a couple months working on them. But time-wise, did they take that much? No. I would say time-wise, there's probably 30 hours worth of work into those 3 claims, so not a whole lot. And if you can work for 30 hours and bring in $60,000, it is a really good, lucrative business. Now, I'm not saying that's what you're going to make. We've been doing this for a long time. We actually go and do it, so you may or may not make money. I'll tell you that. But I will tell you that this is a business that anyone with some gumption, with some courage, and who's willing to take the time to learn the business, you can have a great life and a great business that you're proud of, that supports your family really well, and where you're really helping people. So this is attorney and Harvard Business School mentor Bob Diamond wishing you well. Go check out the intro to overages, and maybe this is the perfect business for you. So go check out the video, and I'll see you over there.